Take a look at this curve right here. That's where your courage gets put to the ultimate test. Every spin of the wheel is you betting your life against the Grim Reaper. This isn't just a drive, it's the kind of hardcore experience that gets burned into a real driver's soul. So, are you ready to roll the dice with Hyder Planet and tackle the 25 most dangerous roads on the planet? I'm convinced this is one of the most insane, boundary-pushing adventures you'll ever get to experience in the most impossible places out there. So don't miss out. Hana Highway. This isn't just a road, it's a psychological test. With a length of about 103 kilometers connecting Kahului to Hana town, this road hides deadly kisses of death if you lose focus for even a second. With 620 corners, most of them sharp and blind, you rarely keep the steering wheel straight for more than 10 seconds. Notably, 46 of those bridges have only one lane, where politeness reigns first, come first served, or whoever has stronger nerves goes first. But don't let the beauty of the rainforest fool you. Hana Highway is located on the windward side, meaning rain can fall at any time. The sheer cliffs along the road are always ready to gift you a few pebbles after every heavy rain. Bayburt D915. The most terrifying aspect of the D915 isn't its steepness, but its sheer openness. Most of the most dangerous sections lack guardrails. Just a split second of inattention or a slip of a wheel, and the difference between you and the abyss is zero. It's not smooth asphalt, but rather dirt, rocks, and gravel. Traction is a luxury here, especially in rain or fog. If other mountain passes make you dizzy, the Zoji La Pass on the D915 route will leave you breathless. You'll face 29 sharp bends so tight that even large trucks or SUVs often have to reverse to get enough angle to maneuver. Gotthard Pass. It's not simply difficult to drive, but a combination of factors that would make even the most experienced drivers break out in a sweat. This road is carved directly into the sheer cliff face of impossible places. On one side, a sheer rock wall juts out as if to crush the roof of your car, and on the other, an unguarded abyss, hundreds of meters high. Just one small steering error, and you'll have no chance to correct it. And forget the asphalt. Here, it's just rocks, mud, and dirt. When there's an oncoming vehicle, it's a real battle of wits. One of the two has to back up for kilometers along the edge of the cliff to give way. Killar to Pangi Road. Nestled deep within the Western Himalayas, it's often listed by the travel community as one of the most dangerous roads on Earth. Imagine driving on a narrow road, barely wide enough for one car. On the other side lies a deep gorge with the Chandrabhaga River rushing below. One tiny error, overcorrecting, sliding on gravel, or oncoming traffic, and you're straight off into the abyss. The most dangerous section is between Tiari and Ishtiari, where the road is carved into the cliff face with sharp turns. Fairy Meadows Road. This is a narrow, incredibly rough, rocky dirt road, approximately 16 kilometers long, with absolutely no guardrails. It starts at around 1,200 meters and climbs straight up to 3,300 meters above sea level. Some stretches fit just one Jeep. Oncoming car, pure psychology cliff edge reversing skill. No asphalt, no concrete. The road surface in impossible places is a combination of gravel, dust, and mud after each rain. Traction here is an extreme luxury. Just a slight slip of the wheel and gravity will do the rest. To your left is a sheer cliff. To your right, a bottomless abyss. The margin of error here is zero. This is a true test of a driver's courage, not only battling the road, but also their own fears. North Yungas Road. Also known as the Camino de la Muerte, it truly deserves the title of the world's most dangerous road that it was given for decades. This is no ordinary road, one but a real challenge for anyone who dares to set foot on it, whether driving or mountain biking. Many sections are only 3 meters wide, whereas old trucks and buses used to travel in both directions. Now, it's mostly used by tourist bicycles, but there are still local vehicles occasionally going against the flow of traffic. With frequent rain, dense fog, landslides, rockfalls, and even small waterfalls cascading directly onto the road. Before the new highway was completed, around 200 to 300 people died each year, and hundreds of crosses planted along the road serve as a reminder. James W. Dalton Highway. The Dalton Highway was not built for family travel. It was created in 1974 to serve the construction of the Trans-Alaska oil pipeline. This is one of the wildest roads in North America. There are stretches of over 380 kilometers where you won't see a gas station, a restaurant, or even a soul. If your car breaks down in the middle of the road, you can only hope for help from heavy truck drivers or grizzly bears. It is there that nature reminds us how small we are. You don't conquer Dalton, you just survive it. Karakoram Highway. Imagine driving at an altitude of over 4,700 meters, flanked by the cloud-touching Karakoram, Hindu Kush, and Himalayan mountains. But that beauty comes at a steep price. No guardrails, one wrong turn, and you plunge hundreds of meters into the abyss. Landslides, rockfalls, and flash floods occur frequently, especially during the rainy season or after earthquakes. Many sections of road are blocked for days, even weeks. Even with gradual ascent, many people still experience dizziness, nausea, and shortness of breath above 4,000 meters due to altitude sickness. Leh-Manali Highway. It stretches for about 475 kilometers, but don't let that number fool you. While a regular highway only takes 5 to 6 hours, this monster will take you at least 2 grueling days. The most terrifying aspect isn't the abyss, but the breathtaking altitude you'll have to traverse on these mountain passes. Here, the oxygen level drops to only about 50% of that at sea level. Car engines will make a terrible noise due to lack of oxygen, and your brain could experience altitude sickness at any moment. Taroko Gorge Road. Also known as the Taroko Gorge Road, it truly deserves the title of one of the most dangerous roads in Asia and perhaps even the world. The roads are extremely narrow, with many sections only wide enough for one large vehicle to pass through. When encountering an oncoming bus in a tunnel or on a tight curve, it's a game of cockfighting, where whoever yields first gets to back up. Many tunnels are pitch black, unlit, hundreds of meters long, and only wide enough for one large vehicle. Taroko's geology is extremely unstable, with marble and frequent earthquakes. Earthquakes in 2024 and recent storms badly damaged many roads. Despite repairs, rockfalls remain a serious danger. Skipper's Canyon Road. This road was built during the gold rush of the 1880s. And it seems that since then, people have forgotten to widen it into the middle of impossible places. At approximately 22 kilometers long, Skipper's Canyon Road is not for the faint of heart or the most adventurous drivers. The most distinctive feature of this road is its extreme narrowness. So narrow that if you meet an oncoming vehicle, and one of you has to reverse hundreds of meters along the cliff edge to find a rare passing spot. Guoliang Tunnel Road. This is a chasm hundreds of meters deep, with no reliable guardrails, only a few crude stone pillars erected by villagers in the 1970s. The tunnel is approximately 1.2 kilometers long, only 4 meters wide and 5 meters high, just wide enough for 2 small cars to squeeze past each other in a split second. The villagers here carved it out themselves with hammers and chisels, meter by meter, for 5 arduous years, just to escape isolation. Previously, they only had a slippery and deadly stone staircase leading to the sky. Many people lost their lives during its construction. They never imagined that this path to survival would become one of the most dangerous routes on the planet. BR 116. It is Brazil's longest main artery, as running from north to south. But don't let appearances fool you. This is where driving skill accounts for only 50%. The other 50% is luck and courage. The stretch of road from Curitiba to São Paulo is a real nightmare. You'll face a series of hairpin bends alongside precipices. The fog here is so thick that you can feel like you're driving through a giant cloud. Visibility is sometimes reduced to just a few meters, turning every turn into a gamble with death. Despite being a vital artery, the road surface quality of BR-116 presents a significant challenge. Commonwealth Avenue. If you ever thought familiar streets were already difficult, then Commonwealth Avenue Metro Manila will make you think again. With an official speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour, buses and some private drivers actually travel at 80 to 100 kilometers per hour as if nothing happened. Near many accidents result from overspeeding and loss of control. With an estimated 3 to 5 accidents per day, it has consistently ranked among the deadliest roads in the Philippines for many years. At one point, it was even ranked highly on the global list of dangerous roads, although it wasn't the typical treacherous mountain road. Sani Pass. When you get here, don't expect smooth, paved roads. Because Sani Pass is a combination of rocks, mud, and hairpin bends so steep, you feel like you're driving up a house wall. Due to strict regulations, the South African authorities only allow 4x4 vehicles to go up the mountain. If you bring a sedan here, the border guards will flatly refuse because they don't want to have to retrieve the wreckage from the ravine. Just a slight misstep or loss of balance on the rocky terrain, and then the car will instantly slide backward through impossible places. Trollstigen. With 11 consecutive hairpin bends, each almost 180 degrees, and an average gradient of 9 to 10%, reaching up to 11% in some places. The car goes up like an elevator ride, and down like bungee jumping with the brakes applied. Narrow road, many sections barely 1 lane wide, cliff on one side, abyss on the other, feels like driving on the edge of a chessboard. Large tourist buses still run regularly, and encountering them on the road is a nightmare. Many drivers recall their first time driving, heart pounding, hands sweaty, even at 10 degrees Celsius. If you're driving yourself, a manual transmission is better than an automatic because it offers better control over speed when going downhill. Transfagarasan Highway. Reaching an altitude of 2,042 meters, and this road traverses the Carpathian Mountains with steep and continuous hairpin bends. Viewed from above, it resembles a ribbon of silk thrown down the mountainside in a chaotic yet artistic manner. The weather is unpredictable. You start in warm sunshine, but reach the summit in thick fog or even summer snow. In many sections, the distance between your wheels and the abyss is only a few handspans, with rather modest guardrails. And don't be surprised if you have to brake suddenly because a flock of sheep is leisurely crossing the road. Kahakili Highway. The road is about 20 to 35 miles long, but the most dangerous section is only about 9 to 13 kilometers. It narrows to a single lane carved directly into the mountainside, with a sheer cliff on one side and a hundreds of meters deep abyss on the other. There are no guardrails and no clear markings in many places, blind U-shaped bends and frequent rockfalls. Two-way road, but only wide enough for one car, so one vehicle often has to reverse tens of meters when meeting oncoming traffic. Many people describe having to reverse while their heart pounds, sweat pours, praying no big truck or SUV comes barreling toward them. Canning Stock Route, Australia. Holds the title of the longest and most remote trail on the planet between impossible places. Established in 1910 for herding cattle, it has no paved roads, no convenient gas stations, and most importantly, no room for error. To get here, you'll have to navigate around 51 giant sand dunes. The road surface is mostly extremely bumpy, corrugations, which can break axles or cause any unsecured components to fall off. If your car breaks down, in the middle of the road. Our towing costs can run into tens of thousands of dollars, and you may have to wait for days. D915 Bayburt-Of. This is the road connecting Of with Bayburt, approximately 106 kilometers long, but the most notorious section is the Derabasha Virajlara area. The area features 29 to 38 extremely sharp hairpin bends, including a 5.1 kilometer section with 17 consecutive bends. With an altitude ranging from approximately 1,712 meters to 2,035 meters above sea level, the slope reaches up to 17%. The road is so narrow that when two cars meet, they often have to back up to give way, and there are no guardrails. The road is mostly gravel, with a poor surface prone to landslides, and the weather is unpredictable, making it especially dangerous in winter. Many people describe the feeling of driving here as heart-pounding, eyes glued to the road, unafraid to look over to the cliff. Passage du Gois. A causeway, approximately 4.12 kilometers long, connects Noirmoutier Island to the mainland. What makes it legendary isn't its steepness or curves, but the fact that it only exists for a few hours each day. When the tide rises, the road completely disappears under the Atlantic Ocean's water, which is up to 4 meters deep. When the water receded, it was revealed like a silken ribbon, covered in green moss and mud. Driving through here, you only have a narrow passage for about 1.5 hours before and after the lowest tide to cross. Just a moment's delay, and your car will turn into a submarine. Stelvio Pass. This is one of the highest mountain passes in the Alps, located on the Italian-Swiss border, connecting Valtellina with the Adige Valley. What really makes it legendary isn't the height, but the 48 to 60 hairpin bends, especially the north side's 48 stone-numbered curves. Many sections are only wide enough for one vehicle, and some narrow curves require large vehicles to maneuver multiple times to get through. Low concrete barriers, with a hundreds of meters deep drop right outside, brake 0.5 seconds late or steer even slightly off, and you're instantly gone. With a history of crashes, from legend Sterling Moss's accident here, to countless cars going off due to the sharp corner. If you're confident in yourself, love adrenaline, and want a once-in-a-lifetime experience, then this is a challenge worth facing. Los Caracoles Pass. If you think you're a skilled driver, Los Caracoles will make you think again. Located at an altitude of over 3,000 meters in the majestic Andes Mountains, this trail is not for the faint of heart. Caracoles, in Spanish, means snail. Viewed from above, the sharp curves stacked upon each other like the spirals of a snail shell. This is a continuous, winding stretch of asphalt, forcing drivers to constantly turn the steering wheel. The path climbs relentlessly uphill with no guardrails in many sections. A small mistake could lead straight to a deep ravine. For much of the year, this road is covered in snow, making driving up the steep slope a terrible test of skill and mental fortitude. Rohtang Pass. Located at an altitude of approximately 3,978 meters above sea level, about 51 to 53 kilometers from Manali. Along with hundreds of consecutive hairpin bends, many sections of the road are so narrow that only one car can pass at a time. On one side is a sheer cliff, on the other, a chasm hundreds of meters deep. Here, a moment of inattention and you could be sent flying. Many people call Rohtang a pile of corpses because accidents and deaths due to bad weather occur frequently. The tourism boom has led to thousands of cars crowding together, causing traffic jams that can last 4 to 6 hours, or even an entire day. This is a real challenge. It's terrifying, addictive, and so beautiful that you forget your fear when you're standing at the top. Zoji La Pass. Located at an altitude of approximately 3,528 meters above sea level, it connects the Kashmir Valley with the Ladakh region. On one side are sheer cliffs, on the other, a bottomless abyss. There are sections that are barely wide enough for a truck to pass, turning avoiding oncoming traffic into a tense battle of wits. And there's no premium asphalt here. The road surface is mostly dirt, gravel and mud. Your car will literally dance. Dortahel, Turkmenistan. Located in the Karakoram Desert of Turkmenistan, this massive man-made sinkhole has been leaking burning methane gas for decades. The Soviet authorities deliberately set it on fire, hoping it would burn out on its own within a few weeks, but nobody knows for sure. To get here, you'll have to cross hundreds of kilometers of vast desert with no cell phone signal and not a soul in sight. As the sun sets amidst the eerie silence of the Karakum Desert, a blazing orange glow appears on the horizon. It's unlike any urban light. It's a primal and menacing light. This isn't just a fiery pit, it's a symbol of Soviet-era resource waste and of human adventure in facing hell. If I could go back, I'd still go down again, even if only to witness it one last time before it dies out. Would you dare? Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. If there's one place on Earth that makes people question whether they're still on the blue planet, it's the Danakil Depression. This region is not only one of the lowest places in the world, but is also known as the harshest place on the planet. Instead of the vibrant green of life, this place greets them with a surreal landscape of dazzling yellows and vibrant orange reds. Deep within lies a visual illusion of rising salt columns, bubbling acidic hot springs, and mineral formations resembling coral reefs on land. Behind this dazzling beauty lies a pungent, sulfurous smell and scorching heat, often hovering above 45 degrees Celsius. This is not a place to relax. This is a place to contemplate the extremes of nature. And this is definitely a journey for souls yearning for the primal, those who want to see the world in its most pristine and intense form. Dedvli, Namibia. To reach Dedvli, you must navigate deep shifting sand dunes, a challenge only four-wheel drive vehicles can handle. After walking about 1.1 kilometers, you'll find yourself in a pristine white clay basin, surrounded by the world's tallest, vibrant red sand dunes. The most haunting and captivating feature is the black, uncorroded tree trunks. It is a deadly, yet proud beauty, a testament to a time thousands of years ago when it was a lush green oasis. Be here at dawn to avoid the 40 degrees Celsius heat and catch the legendary golden light. Don't forget to bring high-top hiking boots to protect yourself from the hot sand and plenty of electrolyte water. And above all, walk slowly, because every step on this clay basin is like treading on the traces of millions of years of history. Socotra Island, Yemen. Nestled amidst the deep blue waters of the Indian Ocean, Socotra stands out unlike any other place. The first highlight upon arriving here is the Dragon's Blood tree on the Diksam Plateau. From a distance, they resemble giant, inverted umbrellas or enormous mushrooms rising from the barren limestone. Don't forget the walk on the pristine white sand dunes here, where the towering sands create an extreme visual contrast. Without luxury hotels or dazzling neon lights in Socotra, you have to get used to camping and bathing by freshwater streams. This place makes you realize that the lack of modern amenities is actually its unique characteristic. It forces people to reconnect with nature and learn to listen to the island's rhythm. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. Yemen is an island in the Indian Ocean, famous for its unique, alien-like landscape and extraordinary biodiversity. Dubbed the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean, due to its large number of endemic species with nearly 700 plant species. Stepping out of the 4x4, they were surrounded by a dazzlingly pure white landscape. Beneath your feet is not sand, but a thick, dry, and cracked layer of salt, arranged by the hand of a great architect. During the dry season, the only sound is the crunching of salt crystals underfoot. If you're lucky enough to visit during the rainy season, you'll witness a spectacular phenomenon. It's a thin layer of water covering the salt flat, turning the entire area into the planet's largest mirror. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. It is Bohol Island's most iconic landmark and a must-see destination for anyone exploring this spectacular land. It comprises over 1,000 200 conical hills stretching across numerous towns, creating a mesmerizing landscape. The most interesting thing that visitors realize is that the name Chocolate Hill didn't come about by chance. During the rainy season, the hills are covered in a lush green carpet of grass. However, when the dry season arrives from around January to May, that layer of grass withers and turns dark brown. From above, the more than 1,200 hills now look exactly like giant chocolate kiss candies placed on a vast green tray. To get the most panoramic view, you must overcome the challenge of climbing over 200 steps to the top of the observation deck. You should prepare a hat and jacket to protect yourself from the tropical sun, which can make you feel exhausted. Pamukkale, Turkey. In the Menderes River Valley, there's a wonder that makes anyone visiting for the first time rub their eyes in disbelief. With the Aegean sun shining brightly, that pristine white color isn't snow, but the result of millions of years of calcification. Before entering, you must remove your shoes, as this is a mandatory rule to protect the soft limestone formations. The higher you climb, the more surreal the Pamukkale landscape becomes, but what truly amazes visitors is not just the geology. Right at the top of those white steps lies the ruins of the ancient city of Hierapolis. You can immerse yourself in the crystal-clear water, swimming among the crumbling Corinthian columns at the bottom of the lake. Island of the Dolls, Mexico. It is a dark and eerie tourist spot, famous in the Xochimilco canals near Mexico City. This place is full of decaying dolls, hanging from the trees left behind by the previous caretaker. And the story behind the island is really sad, but also quite creepy. When you come here, you can walk around for 45 minutes to see the dolls and listen to the stories. Stepping deeper into the island, one feels a strange pressure. The dolls are no longer toys. They have been deformed by time, sun, wind, and mold into grotesque figures. Whether real or imaginary, the atmosphere here, thick with melancholy and sacredness, commands respect from everyone. Hand of the Desert, Chile. In one of the driest places on Earth, the Atacama Desert, stands a colossal rock sculpture known as the Desert Hand. Behind the desert hand is Chilean sculptor Mario Irrazabal, who created La Mano del Desierto, or the Desert Hand, in 1992. Although this sculpture is located quite far from any populated area, it's not difficult to find. Most visitors start by going to the nearest town, Antofagasta, about 72 kilometers from the site. From Antofagasta, you can take a shuttle or taxi south, which will take you directly to La Mano del Desierto. However, please remember to show respect and do not damage the sculpture by drawing or writing graffiti on it. This way, others can continue to admire its beauty for many years to come. Lake Hillier, Australia. At just 600 meters long, it impresses not only with its size, but also with the diversity of life within it. Lake Hillier captivates with its pink hue, and moreover, it's situated right next to the Pacific Ocean. Therefore, if you look from above, the contrast between the soft pink of the lake and the blue of the ocean is striking. It was first discovered in 1802 by navigator and cartographer Matthew Flinders, who sampled it from the lake and noted its existence. The reason for its unique color, although most suspect, it's related to the presence of the microalgae Dunaliella salina. The pale pink color is less noticeable when viewed from the surface, but is very distinct when viewed from above. However, unlike other pink lakes around the world, the lake's water retains its distinctive pink color for several years. Sedlec Ossuary, Czech Republic. Just outside Prague, in a small town called Kutna Hora, lies the world-famous bone church, also known as the Sedlec Bone Church. This place has a very creepy connection inside the bone church, which has gold skull and crossbones decorations on the roof. It houses the remains of 70,000 people, and it's essentially a pile of bones that's been elaborately and exquisitely decorated. In the 14th century, the Black Death spread to Europe, killing many people. Many others died in battles, leading to so many people being buried in this cemetery that it began to become overcrowded. Gathered in the 1800s, each skeleton was stacked by a single woodcarver. These skeletons belong to people who wish to be buried in holy ground. Aokigahara Suicide Forest, Japan. Also known as Aokigahara Jukai, it is a dense forest located at the northwest foot of Mount Fuji. Spanning approximately 13.5 square miles, the forest is renowned for its natural beauty, formed from volcanic eruptions. Despite its peaceful appearance, Aokigahara is notorious as the suicide forest, where many have taken their own lives. It is surrounded by countless natural wonders, further enhancing its mystique and allure. Not only is the vegetation unusually dense, but some areas are so thick that even during heavy rain, you can't feel a single drop. Furthermore, the lava rocks give Aokigahara a strangely tranquil atmosphere. Combine that with the dense vegetation and trees, and you'll have a place that's eerily quiet, but also very easy to get lost in. Mono Lake, Tufa Towers, California. The first thing that catches your eye here isn't the water, but a space so silent you can hear the wind whistling through the rocks. The lake's surface is a deep blue, calm and smooth like a mirror, yet it has a salinity 2 to 3 times that of the ocean. These limestone formations rising from the water resemble abandoned fairy tale castles or giant coral reefs of a dried-up ocean. Formed entirely underwater when calcium-rich freshwater springs combine with carbonate-rich lake water. The lake is characterized by a slight sulfurous smell due to geological activity and bacteria, but you'll soon get used to it. These tufa poles are very fragile, so please walk on the marked trails to help preserve the beauty of this place. It's for souls seeking uniqueness, a touch of solitude and admiration for the creative power of nature.